December 1924. Police raid an apartment in Germany. Inside, they find jars of preserved human flesh, each one labeled with a name and a date. Bones sorted like inventory in wooden crates, a ledger documenting 40 murders over 20 years. The suspect? A church organist everyone called Papa. He sold meat at the local market, made leather goods his neighbor's world. Nobody suspected him, not once, not for 2 decades, until the day one victim escaped and the monster next door was finally exposed. December 21st, 1924. Münsterberg, Germany. 2 police officers climb the stairs to apartment number 4. They're here for a routine assault investigation. Some homeless guy got attacked. The suspect? A 54-year-old church organist who's never been in trouble before. This should take 5 minutes. The first officer steps inside. The apartment is tidy. Modest furniture, a Bible on the table. Everything's normal. Then he opens the cupboard. Glass jars line the shelves. Preserved meat. But each jar has a label. Not pork or beef, but rather names. Ernest Muller, February 1923, 28 kilos. Maria Stolle, November 1922, 23 kilos. The officer's hands shake as he reaches for another jar. Then another. Each one cattle-like like livestock, like inventory. His partner calls from the bedroom. He's found something even worse. Human bones. Dozens of them. Sorted by type, femurs with femurs, skulls with skulls. Organized like a butcher's shop. On the nightstand, there's a ledger. 40 names. Dates going back to 1903. Weights. Methods. Everything documented. Hanging on the wall, suspenders, shoelaces, belts. All made from human skin. The local market loved Karl's leather goods. Everyone said he made the best suspenders in town. The officer looks at the Bible on the table. Next to it, a church service schedule. Karl Denke played organ there every Sunday for 15 years. Every single Sunday. How does this happen? How does a man butcher 40 people over 20 years in a small town where everyone knows everyone? To understand that, we need to go back to the beginning. Karl Denke was born in August 1870 in Münsterberg, Silesia. Back then, it was part of Germany, now it's Poland. Karl was the third of 4 children on a struggling farm. Nothing special, nothing unusual, just another farm kid in rural Prussia. His father died in 1895. Karl was 25 years old, and something in him broke. See, Karl was supposed to take over the farm. That was the plan. That was his purpose. But he couldn't do it. Crops failed. Debt piled up. The neighbors watch him fail. In rural Germany, your reputation is everything. And Karl's reputation? Failure. In 1897, Karl was arrested for attempted theft. Small-time stuff. Desperate stuff. The courts briefly institutionalized him. We don't know for how long. Records are lost. But here's what matters. Karl went away, and when he came back, something was different. He sold what was left of the family land, bought a small apartment in town, kept to himself mostly, learned to play the church organ, and slowly, carefully, Karl Denke rebuilt his reputation. By 1900, everyone in Münsterberg knew Karl, the helpful guy, the quiet guy, Papa Denke. That's what people called him. Need someone to watch your shop? Ask Papa Denke. Need help moving furniture? Papa Denke will do it. Every Sunday, Karl played organ at church. Hymns echoing through the sanctuary. His fingers on those keys, the same hands that, well, we'll get to that. During the week, Karl sold goods at the local market. Smoked meat, sausages. People said his pork was the best in town. Rich flavor, tender. He also sold leather goods. Suspenders were his specialty. Strong, well made, the kind that lasts forever. Everyone bought from Papa Denke. But Karl had another business, one that nobody knew about. He held homeless people, travelers passing through town, beggars, the forgotten ones. Come to my apartment, he would say. I'll give you a warm meal and a place to sleep. In a harsh world, Karl Denke seemed like a good man. Let's talk about timing, because Karl's operations didn't happen in a vacuum. World War I devastated Europe, millions dead, millions more displaced. When it ended in 1918, Germany fell into chaos. The Weimar Republic, hyperinflation. Your life savings couldn't buy a loaf of bread. People starving, people desperate, and people wondering. Homeless veterans with shell shock, widows looking for work, orphans, beggars. All across Germany, ghosts walking the roads. Nobody tracked them. Nobody counted them. If someone disappeared, well, they probably just moved on to the next town. For someone like Karl Denke, this was perfect cover. In a world of invisible people, who notices when one more vanishes? Let's walk through Karl's routine, his system, because that's what it was, a system. Sunday morning, church. Karl arrives early, plays hymns, shakes hands. Good morning, Frau Schmidt. Beautiful service, pastor. Smile, nod, blend in. Sunday afternoon, back to the apartment, check the inventory, check the ledger. Ernest Mueller, September 1923, 28 kilos of usable meat, 2.3 kilos of fat, leather goods, 1 belt, 1 suspenders. Maria Stahl, November 1922, 23 kilos, 1.8 kilos of fat, leather goods, shoelaces, 1 wallet. Monday through Saturday, the market, selling pork sausages, selling suspenders, neighbors complimenting him. Karl, this is delicious. What's your secret? If only they knew. Evenings, Karl watches the train station, the bus stop, looking for a certain type of person. Alone, no luggage, shabby clothes, eyes down, the ones nobody will miss. Excuse me, friend, you look tired. Cold night? I have soup on the stove, a spare bed, no charge. The lonely ones always said yes. They would follow him up those stairs to apartment 4. The door would close and they would never leave. December 20th, 1924, Sunday. Another service. Karl's fingers move across the organ keys. Muscle memory, the same hymns he's played 1,000 times. The congregation prays. Karl mouthed the words. He knows them by heart. Forgive us our trespasses. Does he think about what that means? Does he feel anything at all? We'll never know. After service, Karl walks home, nods at the neighbors. Good afternoon. Cold one today. Inside his apartment, he opens his ledger. Last entry, September 1924, 3 months ago. Inventory running low. Karl checks his tools. The axe behind the door, sharp, ready. The knives in the kitchen drawer, the pickling jars in the cupboard, the salt, the brine, everything in its place. He sits by the window as evening falls, watching, waiting, patient. Karl has been doing this for over 20 years. He's gotten very good at waiting. Tomorrow, maybe someone will come. December 21st, 1924, Sunday evening. A young man steps off the bus. Vincenz Oliver, 26 years old, coachman, down on his lug, looking for work. No family in town, no place to stay. In his pocket, maybe enough money for a meal. Maybe. From his window, Karl sees him. The walk, the posture, the way Vincenz looks around, uncertain. Karl's heart rate quickens. No fear, excitement. This is the one. Karl puts on his coat, scarf, steps outside. Good evening, young man. Cold night for walking. I have soup on the stove, potato soup, and a spare bed if you need it. No charge. Vincence's face light up. Kindness. A miracle on a cold night. They walk together to the apartment building. Up the stairs, Karl closes the door, locks it. Behind the door, his right hand finds the axe handle. 20 years, 40 victims. This is routine now. Karl lifts the axe, but Vincenz turns. Maybe he sees Karl's reflection in the window. Maybe just instinct, but he turns. The axe strikes the side of Vincenz's head, but it's not a clean hit, not a kill shot. Vincenz screams, blood everywhere. He stumbles backward, raises his arms. Karl swings again, misses. He's confused. This isn't how it goes. They're supposed to be compliant, quick, easy. Vincenz is fighting back. Help! Help me! Blood pours from Vincenz's head wound, but adrenaline is hell of a drug. He throws himself at the door, yanks at the lock. Karl grabs him from behind. They crash into the table. The Bible falls to the floor. Vincenz's blood splatters across the pages. He breaks free, gets the door open. Vincenz stumbles down the stairs, screaming. Blood streaming down his face, his neck. Help! He's killing me! Doors fly open. Neighbors rush into the hallway. Frau Weber, her shouts. People who have known Karl for years. They see Vincenz covered in blood. And they see Karl standing at the top of the stairs, axe in his hand, blood on his cloak. For 20 years, Karl Denke has been invisible. The helpful neighbor, Papa Denke. Now, for the first time, everyone sees him. Really sees him. Someone runs for the police. Karl just stands there, axe still in his hand, like his brain can't process what just happened. The mask didn't just crack, it shattered. The police arrive within minutes. They disarm Karl, handcuff him. He doesn't resist, doesn't say much. A misunderstanding, officers. He attacked me first. I was defending myself. Vincenz Oliver is rushed to hospital. He will survive. Barely, but he will survive. He's the only one who ever escaped Karl Denke's apartment alive. The only one. 2 officers stay behind to search the apartment. Standard procedure for an assault case. They're thinking they will find maybe a bloody axe, some evidence for the trial. They're not prepared for what they're about to find. The first officer opens the cupboard, sees the jars, reads the labels. Heinrich, you need to see this. They stand there, both of them, just staring, because this isn't an assault case anymore. This is something else entirely. Over the next several hours, police search every inch of apartment 4. What they find will haunt them for the rest of their lives. The cupboard, 37 jars of preserved human flesh, each one labeled with a name, date, and weight. The bedroom, wooden crates containing bones, femurs, tibias, skulls, sorted by type, organized. The basement, large barrels of pickled human meat, pots containing rendered human fat. The kitchen, knives, saws, butchering tools, all meticulously clean. The closet, piles of clothing, men's clothes, women's clothes, different sizes, different eras, personal effects, wallets, identity papers, photographs, everything organized. And the ledger? The ledger is the worst part because it shows it wasn't madness. This was business. Joseph Bernstein, March 1918, 31 kilo. Fat, 2.7 kilo. Leather, good quality. Anna Schaefer, July 1920, 25 kilo. Fat, 2.1 kilo. Leather, good quality, thin. Ernest Mueller, February 1923, 28 kilo. Fat, 2.3 kilo. Leather, excellent, thick. 42 names in total, starting in 1903. 21 years. But here's the thing. Investigators cross-reference the names with missing persons reports. They find matches. Not all of them, but enough. Joseph Bernstein, reported missing March 1918. last seen in Münsterberg asking for food. Anna Schaefer, reported missing in July 1920, last seen getting off the train alone. Ernest Mueller, reported missing February 1923, homeless veteran, shell-shocked. 42 names we know. How many more weren't written down? These were invisible people, the ones society had already forgotten, the ones nobody looked for when they disappeared. Karl Denke understood something dark about human nature. Nobody misses the people nobody sees. And everyone in town had bought from Karl. His meat, his leather goods. The thought settles over Münsterberg like a disease. What did we eat? What are we wearing? Karl Denke sits in his cell. December 21st evening, same day as his arrest. Police want to question him tomorrow. They have so many questions. When did this start? Why? How did you choose them? Did you feel anything? The guard checks on him around 9 p.m. Karl is sitting on his bunk, calm, almost serene. Do you need anything, Denke? No, thank you, I'm fine. Always polite, always proper, even now. Sometime after midnight, Karl Denke stands up. He removes his suspenders. The ones he made for himself, perhaps from Heinrich Kohl's leather or Maria Stahl's. We'll never know. The guard finds him in the morning, December 22nd, 1924. Karl Denke hangs himself using his own product. There is a poetry to that, I suppose. Dark poetry. He left no note, no confession, no explanation. Every answer died with him. Why did he start? Was the first victim an accident that spiraled, or was this always planned? Did he enjoy it, or was it purely practical? Meat is meat, leather is leather. What was going through his mind every Sunday when he played the hymns? When he shook the pastor's hand, we'll never know. And maybe that's the most terrifying part. The story explodes across Germany. The cannibal of Münsterberg, Papa Denke, monster in disguise. Journalists descend on the town. Everyone who knew Karl is interviewed. He was so quiet, so helpful. I never would have suspected. The local market shuts down Karl's stall. Obviously, people burn any leather goods they bought from him. But here's a question nobody wants to answer. If you ate his sausages 5 years ago, what do you do with that information? You can't undo it. You just have to live with it. The church removes the organ. Nobody wants to play the instrument his hands touched. Some people leave town. Can't stay in a place where they walk past a monster every day for 20 years. Within a few years, the story fades. Germany has bigger problems coming. Economic collapse, the rise of Nazis, World War II. Karl Denke becomes a footnote, a gruesome curiosity. The apartment building still stands in Ziebice, Poland. Apartment 4 is still there. I'm not sure anyone lives in it. Would you? In modern criminal psychology, Karl Denke is studied as an early example of organized serial killer. The planning, the documentation, the ritual. He's also a case study in how community trust can be weaponized. He played organ at church. How could someone plays organ at church be a monster? Turns out, pretty easily. Here's what keeps me out at night about Karl Denke. It's not the jars. It's not the ledger. It's not even the body count. It's how normal he was. He didn't live in a spooky castle. He lived in apartment 4. He didn't wear a mask and didn't hunt people in the dark. He invited them for soup. He didn't look like a monster. He looked like Papa Denke, your helpful neighbor. We like to think we can recognize evil, that it announces itself, that monsters looks like monsters. But sometimes evil plays organ at church. Sometimes he offers you warm meal on a cold night. Sometimes is invisible for 20 years. The victims of Karl Denke were forgotten twice. Once by society, once by history. So let's remember them. They deserve better than they got. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more dark corners of history. See you next time.